Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in this week to This Georgia Clay. So in last week's vlog, you guys saw the completed, well almost completed portion of our living room space. It's completed in terms of the furniture. The furniture that's here is going to be the furniture that goes with me to my next home. The furniture that is going to be within this space until forever long that we're in it. But I did want to mention that we will be getting some window shades for this particular area. Those are coming. That's something that I probably will show on Instagram. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do a YouTube vlog integration for that, but I'm still in the works with a brand for that. So finally getting some Roman shades to go up here. Anyhow, in this week's vlog, we are finally getting over to our guest room as promised. I know it's been quite some time. I think I talked about it originally in January, also in February. Here we are in March. But it's been a process. We've been working on client projects. We've also been working on things within this area as well. So now it's the time that we're gonna go ahead and start our guest room because my parents are coming to celebrate and our daughter graduating this year. She's a senior, so congratulations. I'm so excited for her. So we're gonna have a lot of people coming and going within the space, and we need to give them a guest room that feels inviting, not that they wanna hurry up and go back home. So let's go ahead and get into this week's vlog. So the guest room. When we first purchased our home, that guest space was the first room that we were trying to hurry up and get ready because my parents were coming in and I wanted them to have a space where they could relax and enjoy, especially being on a 4+ hour flight from California to Atlanta to come and visit us. So we I wouldn't say that we rushed it because my design was I wanted to do a board and batten wall in there. I wanted a metal frame bed to give it kind of more so like a farmhouse vibe, but it was more like a chic kind of farmhouse that it was supposed to go for. But I think it just came out to being too sterile. It just was basically a bed, nightstands, and a wall in there. So now going back and, my design has really enhanced and evolved the past 2.5 years that we've owned our home. So I want to add in that space just some details that I haven't really gotten to do in other parts of my home. I would say up here is more modern farmhouse, with more emphasis on modern than farmhouse because I just don't go for all of the signs and things everywhere that sometimes farmhouse can kind of lean to, or more eclectic styles of farmhouse. So in this space, I wanted to do something that was entirely different. I wanted to add a color. I know I spoke about that a little bit in previous vlogs with how the guest room is going to evolve. And so we're gonna be doing a beautiful shade it's called Mountain Olive from Bayer. I did go ahead and get the paint color matched at Sherwin-Williams because I do like their particular paint, plus I get a discount there as well, so it's just a win-win. And they didn't have it in their system, so now if you guys go there within this area, you should be able to have it in their system because it wasn't there. So I went ahead and got that done. But the emphasis for that space is going to be, drum roll please, vintage style. So I wanted to do a vintage emphasis in that room. I wanted it to be timeless. I wanted it to be kind of like a time capsule, somewhere where you go into and it feels like, I wouldn't say grandma's house, but it feels, I don't know, just warm, very lived in, something that's just, like I said, different from the rest of the house. So I found this print on Amazon. I will have everything linked in my LTK page once we get to the reveal and whatnot, but I will go ahead and link this one there as well, just in case you guys want to purchase it now for a certain space in your home. I believe this one, there was only like 2 prints left of this one, but I'm pretty sure, they're gonna restock or whatnot, but I really loved this print. I've gotten some other options as well, or other prints coming, but I wanted to have, again, my love of gardening, so I had some prints with some roses. I think the other one has roses, but they're a little bit more vivid, and it's a little larger, and then I got another print from Studio McGee as well. So that is where we are starting out. That's gonna be the goal there, to add some wood tones, to add some green, some beiges, some cream, just to give it that, like I said, that vintage feel. So let's go over the vision. So I like to use Pinterest. I've always said that I don't shy away from using Pinterest Inspo. I think that a lot of us get inspiration from our day-to-day life and things that we've seen, either it be on TV, in a magazine, YouTube. So I don't shy away from that whatsoever. But I do like to take inspo from Pinterest, or again from magazines or whatever I might come across, but I don't want to duplicate it because I feel like I just want to create it my own, give my own twist on it. So inspo is great just to get an ideal, but I'm just not one to copy it. There are some people that will copy everything exactly, and I feel at that point it's just how is it yours, you know? So that's just what I prefer. So in this one, I wanted to make sure that in the space that I still wanted the board and batten look, but I wanted it to go around the whole room. Again, I wanted to be immersed in the board and batten. I wanted it to feel like it was craftsmanship in that room. I wanted it to feel cozy. Again, giving those vintage styles of a home that would have some type of woodworking on the walls. So instead of it just being on one accent wall, we put it around the entire wall. On the main wall in there's going to be a fireplace. Now, this fireplace is going to be entirely different than anything that we've done before. Again, giving it more characteristics to it, where rather than it just looking like a brand new shiplap fireplace that we put in that room, it's not going to have any shiplap whatsoever. It won't even have board and batten either. We did recently do a board and batten fireplace for a client, and I really loved it, and I wanted to bring it home and incorporate it in my design, but it just wasn't going to go in that space. There is a soffit there, and so it just minimized my vision in terms of doing a full scale fireplace in there. So we're going to do a half fireplace, which I think is going to be very appropriate, very cozy, very cute, very charming within that space as well. With the green, the reason why I went with that particular color is because I just felt like green leans more towards just a warm, cozy vibe. It gives you it's aesthetically pleasing, but also it's not too dark as well. So it gives me those moody vibes, but it also gives me the modern, cozy vibes as well. And if done correctly, you can lighten it up with like bedding, even like the nightstands, just things that are within the space as well, so it doesn't feel so dark. And then also, I'm not doing the entire room with board and batten. I'm not doing the entire room floor to ceiling with board and batten. It's just going to be about 6 feet tall, and then the top part of the wall is going to be a creamy color, which I'm going to use the same color that's in my office, which is Blank Canvas by Behr as well. That did win 2023 Color of the Year, and I really love it within my space. I just wanted to be able to incorporate it in another area too, just to soften the area just a little bit, because right now I'm in the process of painting it, and the green's up on the wall, but the white is still so stark against the green that I just feel like anything that I'm gonna do in there is it's gonna compete with that green wall. So we just need to tone it down just a little bit. One thing as well that I wanted, and I'm just referencing to my Pinterest pictures, but on the back wall, I wanted to create a ledge. So I have a ledge board that goes around in our front entryway. Matt will insert a picture to show you guys kind of what I'm going for. So there's like a top little ledge that goes around, but that's a 1x2. And this room is gonna be a 1x3 that goes around the exterior walls, but the main wall where the bed is going to be up against is going to be a 1x6 to create a shelf. Now on that shelf, I wanted to have something where I can incorporate vintage pieces, so like vintage artwork, example like one like this. I also wanted to incorporate like some greenery, some faux hanging, like trailing plants, and then little knickknacks and stuff like that, like some books. I did recently go to Goodwill yesterday with Matt, picked up some books, so that way I can incorporate them within the design as well. I just, again, wanted to make it feel more cozy, more lived in. Maybe even people that come to visit can leave little things up there. I don't know, we'll see, but it sounds good in theory, but I don't know if I just want random people leaving stuff in my house. Well, it wouldn't be random people, it would be my family, but still, I don't know, because their design taste is not the same as mine. So we'll see, I'll have to veto it or not. Anyhow, so I wanted to create something, like I said, a ledge that was like a focal point, but also it was just something that was just, it could be a focal point in the room, but also it could just create a balance there. So it breaks up that 1x3 that's going around the perimeter of the room. And it just, again, creates that character that's needed in that space. I also wanted to incorporate brass tones. So I do have brass tones in my office. I don't have them anywhere else in my home. I really like that look with the white and the brass. And so I was thinking like maybe I can incorporate that in that space, because again, with the green, I think the green and gold goes very well together. It complements each other. So I'm gonna incorporate that too. I went back and forth of adding a fan or a chandelier in that space. Again, in last week's vlog, I went over like the chandelier in here. I didn't go with the fan because I just aesthetically, I don't like them, but I do know that my parents like to have a fan when they come to visit, but they love the sound of like a box fan, like, you know, those old school box fans. So we do have one that we keep in the closet for them when they come to visit. And so I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna add a ceiling fan because they're not even going to use that. They just love the sound of sleeping with that box fan. So we'll just do that when they come. It's neither here or there. So I'm gonna put a chandelier in there. I also want to dress that on the sides of the bed as well with some sconces. So I'll show you a picture of the sconces that I actually purchased as well. Again, all of these are going to be linked to my LTK page if you guys are interested in adding them within your home as well. So I have some sconces that I think that'll be very cute to go on both sides of the bed. I'm still unsure if I'm going to keep the metal bed. I think the more that I lean towards it, I think I'm going to keep it because I do have an accent chair that I partner with Caraway that you guys are going to see as well. That is black, and so that would kind of help incorporate the two pieces of furniture within that room, of them being the same color tone. So as of right now, that's kind of like where I'm at with the design. I still want to do some other things. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do on the mantle of the fireplace because I do want that to be aesthetically pleasing as well and give me a little moment to make it just cute and decorative on top, but then also leaning towards guests as well. I kind of want to do like a little tray on the bed that has like little cute knickknacks and things for them when I do have guests, like extra pairs of socks or like just little things that can go in there, you know, mints, stuff like that. So still working through that and what the true design is going to be in there. But I do know for sure of the color scheme. I am partnering with Brooklinen to have some new linen in there as well. So I can't wait for that because I'm doing a two-tone look and I just can't wait how that's going to come out and look because that's something that I haven't done before either. So this room is really challenging your girl to think outside the box and do something that's entirely different that you guys have seen thus far on this Georgia Clay. So that's a little bit about this, our guest room. Again, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Are you guys excited for it? Are you guys nervous? Do you think I'm gonna execute it very well? What would you incorporate in the room? But let me know your thoughts and opinions. I'd love to hear from you guys. So with that being said, let's go ahead and tear down that old trim because it's gotta go. So I'm gonna show you guys how it's looking and yeah, it's gotta go. So honestly, the guest room has turned into a place where we just kind of drop random stuff. The only person that really was using the guest room was my son because we had a TV in there and his Xbox was connected because we really didn't want the kids to have TVs in the room. But with living with him under us for the last 2.5 years and hearing him yell at the TV while playing Fortnite or whatever he does down there, we just were tired of it. We're like, forget it. We'll let his sisters deal with it and we'll go ahead and put the TV for the guest room in his room. That TV is a 65-inch, so we want to get something smaller, so it was the perfect time in doing so. So here we are removing the trim from the wall, moving everything back from the wall as well. Like I said, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to keep that bed, but I think it really is going to work. Now, when removing the trim from the wall, it was a lot of caulk that was on the wall, so we had to take our time with removing it. Also, you can see how the battens used to look. I'm not quite sure if that was like a wood filler that was coming through or not. We used a lot of wood filler on these particular walls, and we used real wood. Now, the problem with using real wood is like if you want that rustic look and you want to actually see the grains of the wood, that's perfectly fine. But for us, I just wanted to look more of a seamless look. So we have switched since then. Again, this was one of our very first DIY projects. We use primed wood, so still real wood, but it's primed so it doesn't have the wood graining there. And also this was a 1x2, and this time around we're switching to a 1x3. Now this is a little bit more sped up, but this took us about a week or so from start to finish of taking everything down off the walls and then doing some repair as well. I have to give kudos to Matt because he repaired this wall and he did an awesome job with it. It took time in terms of doing some joint compound that needed to go there to remove the liquid nails that we also used on this wall, and also repairing some of the drywall. Once we got all the trim off the wall, it was time to remove the baseboards. I could have kept the baseboards, but I decided to go ahead and elevate this space because within the office, our 2 offices and our gym, we do use 1x6s to create a 5-inch baseboard. So we wanted to do that as well within the whole basement area. So the guest room will get it, and then also later on when we move on to doing some projects within the rec space, it'll get the same baseboard treatment. So it just was our time to go ahead and make everything look cohesive. So here you see Matt putting in the baseboard just to try to see if it would fit with just a regular 45-degree angle, but he didn't like the lip of the board to the door frame, so he wanted to go ahead and do a beveled cut on it just to make sure that the board for the baseboard, the new baseboards, was as flush as possible with the existing door frame, and I think he did a pretty good job nailing it. So here you'll see us putting up the 1x3 at a height where it's gonna look a little weird, but I'm checking to see exactly, to make sure that the height is right. Anyhow, I wanted it to be taller than me. I am 5'7", and I like for my trim to be where it feels like I'm walking underneath the trim, if that makes sense. I know it's hard to explain, but at first we had it a little bit higher, but those 2 door frames, there I go. I'm checking to see how it lugs me underneath the trim. Anyway, but those 2 door frames are not the same height. Our builder, I don't know what they were thinking. I never noticed it until it was time to put trim, but you could tell that the closet door on the right is taller than the door exiting the room. All right, guys, so this is where we're ending the day at. We got all of the old battens off the wall. We are gonna have to do some repair on the wall for the drywall, but Matt did find some products to help with that. I'm gonna put some joint compound on here, do some sanding, which is not our favorite thing to do, but at least it's just this one wall rather than doing the entire room. I probably would have called in a professional. So we'll get that done. We're also still debating if we're gonna do the farmhouse trim, which is upstairs in our bedroom. I think it would be beautiful in here, but we'll just have to see. I think it'll help break up the spacing in here. So let me show you the template of what's to come. So just like in our foyer, I like how the battens are, or the trim is taller than me. So I kind of want it to be underneath the batten. So this is about 6 feet tall is what we're going with. We did a 1x6 on the bottom, and then this is a 1x3, and the battens itself are going to be 1x3s as well. Just got to figure out the math to get the spacing right to try to prevent us from hitting a lot of the electrical outlets and plugs, because I just don't like when one board meets the other and you have to kind of cut it to fit around. So trying to avoid that. There will be a ledger board on top of here, just like in the foyer as well, just to have that nice look. I'm excited to see. I wanted it to look like when you come into the guest room, you're immersed in the trim, the woodworking in here. So I kind of want it to be that way where people are walking underneath the trim, quote unquote. But man, when I think about that, it really isn't the case because my parents are taller than me, so it wouldn't be like that. I guess it's just me. It would just be me walking underneath it. But anyways, so we're still debating, like I said, because if I put trim here, it'll be another 1x6 with is it a 1x4 or 1x3 that we use? 1x4. It would make this area smaller too. It would shrink it even more with the trim. So just trying to think about that design-wise if I want to. I think it'll look beautiful, so we'll see if that actually comes to fruition. But this is where we're at for today. We wanted to go ahead and see about getting the other boards on, but the laser that we use to make sure everything is straight is dead, so we have to wait for it to charge. But it is now 7:18 at night. We gotta feed our kids, and tomorrow is a work day, so we're gonna call it quits. All right, guys, so let me know in the comments what you guys think. Can you see the vision? What do you guys think it's going to look like? Are you excited about it? Of course, there is going to be a fireplace that's going in this space as well, but before we do any of that, we have to get the board and batten down, so that way we have the spacing and I can actually think about what I want to do on the main accent wall. But again, let me know in the comments. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, share with a friend, and we'll see you guys next week. And hopefully by then we'll have the walls up and everything will be painted, and then we'll work into fireplace, things of that nature. Bye, guys.